It is the DLLS Cowboys podcast, and we are going to turn our eyes westward to the great and powerful Clarence Hill. Let's see if he Joe Trahans this thing and can't figure out how to get himself in the frame or if he can get himself squared up. Pop is in the building in Oxnard, and he's got the press conference backdrop doing it right. What's up, Clarence?
It's so crazy because just when you listen to it, the press conference, the walk off, so many things go through your mind. And Jared's here to have a good time. You know, it's funny because we have some reporter that I want to get back to football, and Jared said, "This ain't about football. What we do? Where you been? I don't know if you saw. He said about just about. This is like our show. You keep saying he wants to talk about. We don't just talk football. Jerry doesn't want to be about football. He likes the landman questions and all the off the field stuff. That's what he enjoys. He don't want to talk about, who's going to be on NFI and PUP and all those generic football questions and who's going to, what are the position battles and what are you looking for? I mean, they worked out three guys. No one asked one question about three guys they worked out. Why didn't you work out those defensive ends yesterday, Jared? That never came up because he was so enamored with all the off the field stuff and telling me how he says, I'm just happy to be out here and get to do this with you guys. And is it about having a good time or is it about winning? What's it about? It's about having a good time and being out here and getting to live. You talking about he has such a great life. He enjoys his life. Is it more about getting to enjoy your life and get to do things with your kids and spending time with your kids? Talking about the Landman episode, you did a long walk off. So you know why that resonated? Because I was talking about my kids, and everybody can resonate with things talking about your kids, and so he's more appreciative of getting to work alongside his kids than winning now. And nothing wrong with that. I mean, you should want to be able, but it seemed like that's what excites him. That's what wakes him up every day, getting to work with his kids.
Whenever you have, there's a couple things that I observe in life. Whenever you have people talking more about like religion or like family in the face of something that they're supposed to be dealing with, that's when you know it's over. That's when you know it's over. That's when you so when you hear him talking about every other thing but the nuts and bolts of football and how this football team get to the ultimate place that you want to get to in February is the Super Bowl. We talked about it in the first segment. This is fun for him. This is sport now.
Right.
This is no longer competition. And I don't care what he says. I don't care how he says it. He can call on our show. He can see me in the hallway and pull me to the side and fuss me out, and that's fine. This isn't about winning anymore. This is about hey, kumbaya.
Yep.
In my last few years of life left, I'ma have a good time. I'ma have a good time with my sons, with my daughters. I'ma do some cameos. I'm gonna do some Netflix specials. We're gonna be on the boat. We're gonna have a good time from here on out. Oh, and by the way, if we just so happen to win a few games,
that'd be cool.
By golly, that'll be all right.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. It'd be the cherry on top. And just getting back to the Micah thing, I mean, he threw everybody. I mean, to me, they were very defensive of how they do business. Because he brought up, invoked Emmitt Smith. Well, I go back to Emmitt. Yes, that's the problem. You go back to Emmitt Smith. You guys have waited and waited and waited to sign deals. Okay, waited and waited to sign deals. And and other teams are able to do it. It's a pattern with you. Other teams are able to sign their guys early before camp. But you go to Dak and CD and now Micah, what's the agent? They keep wanting to blame the agent. Why don't Mulageta call us? And okay, why didn't our friends come? I mean, it's always something. In the fact that, Stephen was quick to say, well, Jerry doesn't talk to any agents. Jerry didn't talk to Todd France. Well, Stephen, did you talk to Mulligata? No, I had to read back. I had to ask that question. Okay. Why is Adam the one talking? Adam cannot ultimately make the deal. It has to be co-signed by Stephen and Jerry. Adam can't make the deal. He's the cap guy. He can negotiate, but he can't ultimately make the deal. Why are you not doing this? And I understand just talking to people, talking to a source. Jerry has no problem paying more. I was told he don't have a problem paying more to make sure he gets it right. And it frustrates me with the media keep saying, well, Jerry says he needs to see more leadership. And what does he need to see more? How do you need to see more? Where's he going to see more leadership in training camp? Because Jerry on the walk-off, he talked about patting him on. Well, he's going to be out. He can be patting him on the button because he's not going to be on the field playing. Then in the walk-off, he invokes being in a bomber going to Iraq. You just guys. I mean, I know you saw the stuff we talked about landman about the finger in the butt. Okay, you saw that stuff. I mean,
he
loves
said,
the
he
one-liners.
threatened to, he wanted to John Hamm, and he was,
I think he comes to these press conferences looking to go viral. Okay, and then in the walk-off, he talked about compared, Micah being with his teammates to go in a bomber going to Iraq, and he needs to be in there and be in the foxhole with those guys and uplift their morale. So that's what he needs to see from him in training camp. The bottom line is he would have signed the deal in March without seeing all this leadership in training camp.
So
there's nothing more he needs to see.
So I guess it's just going to be a tear up Jerry Jones day, and that's fine. Those happen sometimes. I think part of the reason, his ineptitude as a GM is for 100 reasons. He's absolutely awful at that job. But I think one of them is just there's a combination of two things. One is the scars he's developed from contracts that haven't worked out, but it all circles around him, right? Was the Terrence Steele, was that one of the contracts while Zeke was in Cabo?
No, it wasn't Terrence Steele.
Okay.
No.
Well, Terrence Steele was one of the guys that
was Leo Collins and Jalen Smith.
Okay. But Terrence Steele was he's always been one of the players that they like the way he goes about his business. He's a good teammate. He's a nice guy, really squared away. And so when his team is ready and willing to take what is a, quote, discount if he's going to become something that's really, really good, right? He's the sort of player that some teams would be like, yeah, let's see what else we can do. And some teams, if you really like him, will sign him. And so he gets a nice contract. And they look back at that, and boy, Jerry said it today, just fired a massive shot at Terrence Steele for no reason when he was just like, you think we should have waited on Terrence and Trevon? And poor Joe Hoyt's like, you want me to? That was my question to you. You're the GM. So he has the deals that he looks back at where it's like, well, we signed these guys early, and they're not the player that we thought they would become. Jerry, I don't know how else to say this. That ain't got to do with the best players in football. You know what Dak Prescott was going to become because he was already it. You know what CeeDee Lamb is going to become because he's already it. You know what Micah Parsons is going to become because he's already it. Your misses on Terrence Steele's contract and Jalen Smith's contract, making you wary of signing the best players in the effing sport, is insanity. And that's what it is. It's the scars of a GM who signed bad deals. And so now he just wants to feel perfect about every player that he signs. And you're talking about guys that are no doubters. It's already established. The quarterback that ended up still the highest paid, he'll still be the highest paid a year from now probably, still did it off with his leg snapped in half. And you're talking about, just because you sign a guy doesn't mean you're going to have a guy, so I might not want to sign a guy. You signed a guy that you didn't have, and he still took you to the woodshed. The best players have nothing to do with your misses when you're trying to guess at your mid-roster players that you like, and if it doesn't work out, that has nothing to do with the best pass rusher in the sport. There's nothing you have to learn about Micah Parsons. Nothing. And that's just a rant, and I don't know why, and I'm sorry. And hey, Clarence,
you don't have to rant, and see, and that's what he's done. He's gotten everybody rants to ignore the real issue. They messed up with Micah Parsons. These are justifications. He's throwing Diggs and Steele on the bus to justify why they haven't gotten a deal done with Micah. Now you got you ranting about misses. He's not worried about missing with Micah. Let's be clear. He's not worried about missing with Micah. He's not worried about paying Micah early. But let me throw that out there. Throw some chum in the water to get you talking, get you on a rant. Because he was ready to sign Micah to the richest deal in sports, non-quarterback in sports, in March. Okay? He's ready to do that. And there's no problem paying him more now, even though the contract has gone up. Okay, they just haven't gotten the deal done. But he's not really worried about missing with Micah. But he's throwing that out there to give you something to talk about, to justify. Like he's throwing the leadership BS out there. I need to see more. I need to see more. I said, what do you need to see? He said, well, we just got the camp. He's not going to do nothing in camp. What can he show you in camp? I need to see the pass pop. He passed 4 years better than anybody. There's nothing he can show you in camp this year that's going to change that. And he's not going to do anything but pat people on the butt and say, rah, rah, when he gets out of here. And then you say, I love the fact that he's here. I commend him for being leadership because he's showing up to not play, but he's showing up to be with his teammates. So it's just, justification for a deal not getting done is being on the defensive. This whole thing was about being on the defensive because they haven't gotten the deal done. And so, yes, Terrence Steele and Trevon Diggs were collateral damage. He just brought Trevon Diggs out of nowhere. We weren't even talking about Diggs. Okay, we were talking about Micah and why he don't have a deal done, all this leadership stuff. And yeah, we just fired Diggs the other day because he wasn't here for game. He just threw Diggs under the bus and ran over him again.
But if like when you say that that's just like a justification or whatever to get you to do the rants and stuff for a deal not getting done, then like what is his actual reasoning when you say, oh, he's willing to pay and he's willing to pay more now and he's willing to pay? Then why are we not talking about a guy playing football today or tomorrow?
Why ask why drink Bud Dry used to be a commercial a long time ago? I don't know. I don't know. It makes no sense, Jeff. It makes no sense.
Clarence, just for clarification on the Micah situation, is he like when you say he's there? Is he on the Cowboys training camp premises there, or is he in Oxnard there?
Listen, I have not seen him. Jerry and Schottenheimer said he's here. The report says here. I have not seen him. They were stretching earlier today before the press conference. He was not on the field, but they say he's here. So I don't know if that means I'm assuming they mean inside the complex. But again, Jerry talked about him being patting guys on the butt. He didn't talk about him on the field rush because we asked him specifically, is he just going to be here to a hold in or, is he actually going to practice? And he wouldn't answer that question, which tells you all you need to know about that question. So he may be here, he may be present, but, I don't think he's participated just like he didn't participate in minicamp, and then that's the smart thing to do. But the fact that everybody's comfortable being here, Michael said it, I know I'm going to get paid, but to answer the questions of why it hasn't happened, he has to come up with reasons. He has to give the media something to talk about. He got to give everybody something to talk about, and that's what we're doing. He's giving us talking points of why it hasn't happened, and all of these, platitudes of leadership and stuff I need to see because it ain't happened yet. But again, the bottom line is you haven't called the agent. And you still haven't called the agent. And one of the Cowboys people say, "Why don't the agent call us? Why don't the agent call us?"
That's fair. That's fair.
Is it fair?
No, it's not fair. No, it's not fair. But
because Micah, and then we said, well, Micah told you to call. I'm not going to get into what Micah said, as he said to me or whatever else, or supposedly said to me. I said, Micah said it. He told you to call the agent. And he said, well, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into what so-called Micah said to me.
I can't stand that is, I hate that this football team doesn't have a decent GM. And I hate that that's what we have to talk about because it's football season. And I'm ready to do the football stuff. But like that press conference, it was all about Jerry and contracts and landman and so it's like, I want to do football, but we can't do football yet because that's not what they're talking about.
So let me ask you this question. Do the current players on this roster, coaches included, is it enough? Is it enough to overcome the ineptitude of the GM for them to win meaningful games and have a deep playoff run?
It hasn't been enough for the last 30 year.
Not even close.
Why'd it be enough now?
Not even close.
It hasn't been enough. I think therein lies I think the answer lies in your question. But again, they still have questions about this team as much as just talking to people. I've talked to other people who feel excited about the offense, insiders who feel excited about what Pickens can bring. And certainly everybody feels good about Dak. Jerry talked about the reason he's confident because he knows Dak is going to be back and healthy and ready to go. Just like they felt last year when they signed him. But they still have unanswered questions on defense. They still have unanswered questions on stopping the run. They still have unanswered questions about the running game. And when you're starting camp, you're going to be without Diggs. You're going to be without Revel. Their start one. Revel's going to start on NFI. Diggs going to start on PUP. You don't know when Diggs is going to be able to play. You still have questions on this team, and then you work out 3 defensive ends, maybe because you don't know if Micah's going to be out here practicing. So you have to work out defensive ends, see if you need to bolster that position. And, you still got Sam Williams coming off of ACL. There are real football questions on this team that have not been answered. But yes, they feel good. Shotty is motivated to win for his daddy.